it's Zach here at JTech, and today I'm going to be showing you how to do some engine mechanical.
Okay, so first I'm going to be showing you how to do a vacuum test with the gauge, and I have it connected to a port in the intake manifold so I can get a vacuum inside the engine. And a good vacuum is about 17 to 21, and as you can see we're below average, so there's something wrong with this engine. And we just use the vacuum to test the difference between the atmospheric pressure and the pressure inside the engine and how it runs in different circumstances and conditions. And I have a chart over here which has different readings and information of what you could get and the possibility of what it could be. The first test we're going to do is he's going to rev the engine to 2500, and it should drop to 0 and go up. As you can see, it goes up to about 17 to 18 psi, which is in the negative, so it's a good holding vacuum. We're also going to test when he snaps the throttle. You can see it went straight to 0 and shot up about past 20. And that's what it's supposed to do. Alright, so now we're going to do a power balance test. And the reason we would do this test is while we're using the vacuum gauge, we get a bad reading, and we need to measure to make sure that each cylinder is working properly. So the way to do that is that we're going to be taking out the fuel or the spark, but for this case it's going to be the spark because the ignition coil is right here. All we're going to do is unplug it, and the engine is going to die down a little and lose RPM, and I'll show you on the scan tool where we have the engine speed and the RPM up here. And during each one you're going to want to wait 10 seconds so the engine can heat back up. So, as you can see, the engine starts to die a little. And now I'm going to take out this next one and show you the RPM. You see how it drops a lot, almost all the way down to 330. And that is how you do your cylinder power balance test. You would want to do it for each one. So the next step I'm going to show you guys is how to perform a running compression test. And all I did is I have this hooked up in the spark coil. I took out the coil and the spark plug, and I screwed in this hose which connects to this gauge. And what we're going to do is we're going to start the engine, and while it's at idle we're going to record the measurements. And as you can see, it's at about 50 psi, a little bit over, almost 60 psi. And this is just going to check the engine's ability to move air in and out of the cylinder. Now we're going to do a snap throttle test. And as you can see, it goes up to 110, which is good pressure. And this is just showing how much pressure is inside the system, pushing the air through. And that is how you perform a running compression test. And your second test, the results that you recorded on your snap throttle, should be about 80% more than your cranking compression test results. Alright, so the next test that we're going to perform is called the cranking compression test. And as you can see, I have all my spark plugs and coils out of the system, all unplugged, but I still have the gauge connected to the first cylinder. And all this is going to do is we're going to determine if there are any misfires or any dead cylinders caused by compression in each cylinder. So you would want to check it one by one, but for this video I'm just going to do one. So my colleague has a jumper wire connected to the starter on the positive side, and he's going to use this jumper wire to start it. He's going to do 5 pulses, and we're going to record the reading off of this. As you can see, it's about 95 to almost 100 psi, and you want to record that and base it off of your running compression tests and then just go forth with each cylinder. Now I'm going to show you how to perform a cylinder leakage test, and all we have is we just have one coil and spark plug disconnected and out, and I have this gauge hooked up, and it's also hooked up to the air hose on the other side, and all this is doing is to measure how much air is leaking out of the cylinder and the location of the leak. And before you start this, you're going to want to set your piston up to top dead center, and with that you're going to want to on the compression stroke, and you're going to want to connect it to the crank pulley and adjust it manually until it's at the top. Then all you're going to do is just add pressure to it. And then you're just going to hold it and see if it loses any pressure. But if it does lose any pressure, it's only because there's air gaps in between the piston rings, so about 10% of the air is going to be leaking out of the system. But overall, you can see that there's not a big leakage, and I can't hear it anywhere. And the places you're going to want to check that is the exhaust. You're going to want to check it in the intake and the throttle body, and that's all.